The Bengals are dealing with significant injury news to multiple starters. Let's dive into all of the news, what it means for their roster depth, and what Zach Taylor had to say about protecting Joe Burrow. That and more right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the 50,000 plus Bengals fans that have hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and make sure, if you're one of those 57,000, or if you're not one of those 57,000, that you check us out wherever you get your podcast. That is Apple, that is Spotify, that is Amazon, and even if you're watching us on YouTube and that's how you normally consume Cincinnati Bengals Talk, which we love and we hope you continue to do, the audio side is going to be beneficial. There's going to be exclusive interviews and audio, and like during the draft we had that, and throughout this training camp and throughout the season, the audio only is going to be a good supplement and complement to everything that you watch here. And maybe you don't watch YouTube often, well then just take us with you wherever you go on the audio side. Let's dive into the news of the day, and hopefully it kind of ends here, and it isn't a big deal, but Geno Stone is dealing with a soft tissue injury, as Zach Taylor called it. Geno called it minor. Zach Taylor called him week to week. And I think the week to week thing is relative. And it's relative because safety is one of the shallowest positions on this roster. And Dejon Anthony played with the first team defense on Saturday at practice. Jay Morrison was there for BengalsTalk.com, and so he was giving me the skinny. The scoop is my first training camp practice I missed, full disclosure. And so I'm like, all right, well, is it going to be Tyson? Is it going to be Dejon? Everyone knows how bullish I am on Tyson Anderson. I think Tyson Anderson can play safety. I this offseason said, save the money on Geno and either go get someone else or bring in Tyson, do something like that. But now I'm saying you got to bring someone in, period. And they're so shallow at safety. You really have three total guys that you feel like with Geno out that you're comfortable with playing. Obviously Tyson, Dejon, and Jordan Battle. It's pretty shallow. And I did think that Geno Stone was having a pretty solid camp. And it's unfortunate that he got hurt on the long run the other night, but you're going to have to figure this out. And maybe he can come back for week one, but now week to week certainly could mean that he misses. Week to week, we're less than a month away. We're 4 weeks away from the opener. And it's one of those things where I get why fans are going to mention Justin Simmons. I get why fans are going to say, they should go after this, or this is why they should have brought in Julian Blackmon, who ended up signing with the Saints. I don't think the Bengals are going to go after a Justin Simmons, but if you're having that conversation, if you're thinking that, if you and your buddies in the group chat are having believe me, I get it. Because it's certainly one of those things where it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do? And maybe Dejon Anthony balls out. But as we get into this and these injuries, it's like, oh, well, if you're shallow at some of these spots, who knows? And that's what's really interesting. And speaking of injuries, Joseph Ossai went down with some kind of injury that forced him to limp off the field during his first team rep on Saturday. That hopefully is nothing serious. And if it's nothing serious and they're just holding him out as a precaution, could be a really good thing, because Shemar Stewart got a bunch of first team reps. And so hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully he can return to practice on Sunday. And then if that's the case, well, then Shemar Stewart benefited. And Joseph Ossai is someone that the Bengals are really banking on. He had 5 sacks last year, a career high, 46 tackles last year, a career high. And they believe that he has another gear or two. And I like the investment, the 1 year, $7 million deal that they made in Joseph Ossai, because you don't want those guys that have had some injury issues, but really profiled as guys that could take off. You don't want them to take off in another uniform. And so I understood re-signing Joseph Ossai. He's a 1 year deal. It's very much a prove it deal. This is a year where he needs to prove it to himself, to his representatives, and to the Bengals and the rest of the NFL. So hopefully it's not serious. On the flip side of that, sort of like Geno Stone, Dejon Anthony gets valuable reps, and you can kind of see what you have. Shemar Stewart got valuable reps today. And that's beneficial. That's useful, especially because I do believe, and I said this on Locked On Bengals, I believe I said it on our postgame report. Shemar Stewart, to me, is a starter. He's going to start. Now, will it actually happen and play out that way? I'm not sure, but I do think that he is their second best defensive end and one of their best defensive linemen. And so you figure it out. And that doesn't mean he has the best pass rush moves of all those guys outside of Trey or anything like that. But what I do think is he's just so physically gifted. It's like Amarius last year, where he needs reps. He's a raw talent, but he's someone that's physically gifted and can make an impact. I have a ton of thoughts on what Zach Taylor had to say before practice. It was really interesting because, to me, it's been time to look at Jalen Rivers at guard. It's been time to kick the tires on Cody Ford at tackle and just really look at how you can fill all these voids, right? Offensive tackle 3, your swing tackle. Well, Cody Ford lined up at right tackle today. Jalen Rivers, I always would have considered him at guard. He lined up at right guard today. We'll see what it means. It might not mean much. It could mean a lot. But the Bengals are going to start to experiment here. And it's a stretch of 6 practices before their next game. Now they have 5 practices before their next game, but they don't play again until a week from Monday, August 18th, Monday Night Football against the Commanders. So this is the bulk now of camp. This is the bulk of time to get the work in. This is the bulk of, all right, well, we have this deficiency or we have this issue or that. And so it's time, and a very, very exciting time. Other injury notes, Mike Gesicki, still out with a hamstring. They're going to manage him. Matt Lee was back today, which is certainly a good sign. No BJ Hill, which is okay. I think they're managing that. I think he's going to be fine long term. And we'll see there. Like, I wonder if they're experimenting, do they just throw Matt Lee in at guard? I wouldn't be against that. I would. I do think, though, that Lucas Patrick is going to start at right guard. If there were odds on it or whatever you want to say, I felt that way coming into camp early on with Matt Lee out. They put him at center and they got him reps at center, but I think he is certainly the favorite to start at right guard. And then just other notes. Cam Taylor-Britt was back today and dressed, and that's a good sign as he progresses. I've been told what he's dealing with is minor. It's not a big deal. They're playing it safe. Fine. Dax Hill was back today. Great to see. But with Gesicki out, it was time for Noah Fant to ramp up. And he did. He got hot at one point during practice. I know T. Higgins was dealing with some cramping too. Multiple guys dealing with stuff from a heat standpoint. But this is Fant's first full practice since joining the Bengals. So it's been a couple of weeks since he's practiced like this. He's been getting down the playbook since coming to Cincinnati. Hasn't participated in team drills. Did today. Caught a touchdown pass from Joe Burrow in a red zone drill. He moves well. I like him. I think he's going to matter for this team. Like the Noah Fant signing at the time. And I think for those of you that are like, oh, well, go get a Justin Simmons or go get this guy or go get a guard or go. Fant is going to be the prime example because he's going to matter for the Bengals. Even with Cam Grandy, who Zach Taylor really likes, and Tanner Hudson having 2 touchdowns the other night, and Mike Gesicki in the mix. And obviously you have Drew Sample. I get all that. Noah Fant's going to matter. And so if you can add to your depth, it's important to do so. That's what good teams have, great teams have. They have depth. They have other guys they can count on when a guy or two gets nicked up. And so we'll see if they look to add. But I really like that Noah Fant signing at the time, and all systems go. I think everyone giving Fant the thumbs up. And we will certainly see him over the stretch of practices here, them try to ramp him up some. Don't be surprised when it does happen 9 days from now, if the Bengals do play their starters for the first half. And I think their goal is to get Dax Hill out there. I think their goal is to have Cam out there and have some of these guys out there so they can have the full scope, these are our starters. This is it. This is our dry run against the Washington Commanders. We'll see. But that's sort of my expectation with preseason game number 2, less than 10 days away. We aren't going anywhere. We're right here for you on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. So please hit that subscribe button as we get closer and closer to 60,000 subscribers. I would love to do it before the start of the regular season. I would love to. So tell a fan that loves the Bengals about us today so they can hit that subscribe button. And until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.